Hi everyone, I don't know if you'll believe me, but the story I'm about to tell actually happened to me a couple of weeks ago. It all started when I moved into a new apartment. Nothing special, just a regular place in an old building where my grandparents used to live. From the very first night, I noticed something strange. In the room across from the window, a dark shadow would appear. I thought it was just reflections from passing cars, but it didn't move. And it was there every night, precisely at 10:13 p.m. I started recording it on video, and here's what I saw. Day 1. The shadow. That first night, the shadow looked almost human, tall and vague, with no visible features. I tried to figure out what it could be, but in the darkness I could see nothing but a black shape. I took a few photos, but the shadow didn't show up in any of them. Just an empty window. At first, I thought it must be a trick of the light. Maybe something outside the building, a tree, a lamp, a person. But the next day, I checked. The street was empty, no people, no objects in the way. And yet the shadow returned again, right at 10:13 p.m. Day 2. Digging deeper. I started to get really uncomfortable. I decided to ask around and find out who had lived in the apartment before me. I called the neighbor upstairs, Aunt Olga, a sweet elderly woman. "Oh, that apartment," she said with a sigh. "There used to be a man living there, a strange one. They said he never let anyone in, kept to himself all the time." "What happened to him?" I asked. "No one really knows," she replied. "One day he just vanished. Some people say he had a dark secret." Day 3. Footage. I set up a camera and began recording the shadow every night. In the footage, it looked like the shadow moved slightly, as if it were watching me, but it never tried to enter the apartment. One night, while the shadow stood outside, I walked up to the window and called out, "Who are you?" No answer. But then I heard a whisper, soft and unclear, like someone speaking from right behind me. I couldn't make out the words. Day 4. The dream. That night, I had a strange dream. I saw the man who used to live here. He stood in the dark, inside the shadow, whispering something. I couldn't see his face, but I felt his fear and sadness. I woke up drenched in sweat. The room was freezing, and even the light outside seemed dimmer than usual. Day 5. The shadow awakens. The next evening, the shadow appeared again, but this time it moved closer to the window, as if trying to look inside. I felt like it was trying to tell me something, so I wrote a message on a piece of paper. "What do you want?" A few minutes later, something strange happened. The shadow seemed to draw on the foggy glass. Letters, symbols. I quickly took a picture. It said, "Help." Day 6. Research. I decided to dig deeper. I went to the local archives and found some information about the man. His name was Ivan, and he had indeed lived in the apartment for years. He was once a successful man, but after the tragic death of his wife, he isolated himself. People said he slowly lost his mind. I also found a strange article in an old newspaper about a man who disappeared without a trace. Ivan was suspected, but nothing was ever proven. Day 7. Contact. That night, the shadow was more visible than ever. I grabbed my notebook and tried to communicate. "Are you Ivan?" I asked. The shadow wrote on the window again. "Take me away." I felt a deep sense of sorrow, like this was a soul trapped between two worlds. Day 8. Asking for help. I told a few friends about what was happening. Some laughed, others tried to explain it rationally. One friend, who was into the paranormal, offered to help. She suggested we perform a cleansing ritual in the apartment. Day 9. The ritual. That evening, we lit candles and performed the ritual, saying prayers and chants for peace. As we finished, the shadow appeared one last time, brighter than ever, and then slowly faded. The room felt lighter, warmer, peaceful. Day 10. Goodbye. The shadow appeared one final time at exactly 10:13 p.m., but this time it was faint, barely there. I knew then Ivan had found peace.